For decades, three simple letters carried the sound of American thunder: GTX. They stood for dominance, attitude, and raw mechanical soul. But as time passed, that roar faded, buried under electric silence and digital precision. Until now, the 2026 Plymouth GTX is back, and it's rewriting everything we thought we knew about modern muscle. This isn't just another revival. It's a resurrection, a time machine with tires. But here's the question that's dividing enthusiasts everywhere. Has Plymouth truly brought back the soul of American muscle? Or have they just built a museum piece dressed in modern carbon fiber? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have your answer. And maybe a little piece of that American fire back in your heart. Let's rewind the clock for a second. The original Plymouth GTX wasn't just a car, it was a declaration of power. A muscle car for people who wanted both style and savagery. Built to rule the streets and drag strips of the late 60s. When you saw a GTX back then, you didn't just look, you moved out of the way, but the story didn't have a happy ending. As emissions tightened and fuel prices climbed, the GTX, like many legends, disappeared. The brand itself faded from American roads, leaving behind only nostalgia, rusted classics, and stories from the golden era of horsepower. Fast forward to 2026, out of nowhere. Plymouth rises again under the Stellantis group. Their mission? Not to copy history, but to revive emotion. The all-new GTX is their flag in the ground, their statement that raw power, noise, and passion still belong in the modern world. This car is aimed directly at those who grew up dreaming of muscle, those who crave that visceral connection between throttle and heartbeat. It's not here to compete with quiet EVs. It's here to remind America what driving used to feel like. And from the first glance, it's clear. Plymouth didn't just bring back the badge. They brought back the attitude, the stance, the rebellion, the emotion that once made us fall in love with cars in the first place. But can it truly deliver on that promise? Let's find out. The moment your eyes land on the 2026 GTX, you understand why people are calling it Detroit's comeback call. It's low, wide, and angry, like it's been waiting decades to show the world it's still got fight left. The front fascia is pure aggression, a retro-inspired grille that channels the '69 icon, now framed by laser-cut LED blades that pierce through the night. The hood is sculpted with functional vents that pulse heat like a living thing. Every panel screams purpose. No fake vents, no gimmicks, just steel and soul. Move along the side and you'll notice the proportions are perfect. Broad shoulders, muscular arches, and that classic fastback line that melts into a short, clean rear deck. The GTX sits confidently on 20-inch forged alloys wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport rubber, every curve whispering speed even at a standstill. At the back, the story continues. Quad exhausts growl from a diffuser-carved bumper, while the LED taillights pay tribute to the original's square design. A modern muscle machine with a heartbeat older than most of us watching. Step inside and things get emotional. Plymouth knew this wasn't about flooding the cabin with screens. It was about balance. Leather and Alcantara wrap around you. The stitching matches the body color. The gauge cluster can morph from retro analog dials to full digital telemetry. Every click, every button has weight, sound, and feel. Then comes the star of the show, the engine. Under that vented hood lies the Hemistorm's 6.4-liter V8, pushing out 505 horsepower of naturally aspirated fury. No turbos, no gimmicks, just raw displacement, precision fuel mapping, and a soundtrack that hits your chest like a live concert. You rode to 60 in around 3.8 seconds, a quarter mile in the low 12s. But numbers only tell half the story. Because when you floor it, you don't just hear the GTX, you feel it. The cabin vibrates, the tires claw, and your pulse syncs with the engine note. It's more civilized than its ancestors. Adaptive dampers, multi-mode steering, and a finely tuned suspension make it corner like a car half its weight. You can cruise in comfort or switch to track mode and feel the car tighten like a coiled muscle ready to strike. The infotainment is crisp and intuitive, but you barely notice it. Because here the focus isn't on menus, it's on memories. Every throttle press, every downshift reminds you this machine was built for the driver, not the algorithm. And just when you think you've seen everything, Plymouth hits you with a twist, a rumored manual transmission package in development. Because they know real drivers still want to shift their own destiny. Still, one question remains. Can it truly hold its own against today's muscle monsters and electric titans? Hold that thought, because this is where the GTX shows its true character. Out on the open track, the 2026 Plymouth GTX transforms from a machine into a message. You start the engine, and the world around you fades. The exhaust cracks like thunder on a summer night, echoing against the grandstands. The Hemi-Storm V8 roars to life, ready to prove it still belongs in this world of silence. Hit the gas, and the tires bite hard. 0-60 flashes by in under 4 seconds. The gearbox snaps through gears with confidence. And the car's body feels perfectly balanced. Old muscle attitude wrapped in modern control. As you exit the corner, the back end twitches, then bites down, perfectly planted. There's no electronic drama, no artificial feeling. It's mechanical, organic, real. And that's the magic of the new GTX. It doesn't just perform, it connects. It lets you feel the road, the tension, the grip, the story unfolding beneath you. But the real surprise isn't the speed. It's how mature this car feels. Gone is the clumsy oversteer of old-school muscle. In its place, precision, almost European handling finesse. Without losing that American fire, the GTX holds its own against today's legends. Mustang Dark Horse, Camaro ZL1, Challenger Hellcat, and in some ways, surpasses them. It's smoother, more balanced, and shockingly comfortable for daily use. And then, there's the sound. That soundtrack of rebellion, the kind that sends chills down your spine. The kind that reminds you why you fell in love with cars to begin with. So, has Plymouth done it? Have they built a machine that lives up to a name once whispered like mythology? Well, let's just say the legend didn't just return, it evolved, and it's about to make a lot of electric cars feel soulless by comparison. So here we are, the end of the road, and maybe the beginning of something bigger. The 2026 Plymouth GTX isn't perfect, but maybe that's what makes it special. It drinks fuel like it's 1970 again, it'll probably cost more than most people expect, and it doesn't chase efficiency. But it gives you something almost no car does anymore: emotion. This isn't a car for spreadsheets or specs. It's a car for people who still turn around to look at their ride before walking away. For those who remember the feeling of a cold morning start, the rumble beneath the seat, the echo through the streets. The pros? Power that feels alive. A design that commands respect. A cabin that blends nostalgia and innovation beautifully. The cons? Sure, fuel economy, limited rear space, maybe a price that'll make your wallet twitch. But if you've ever loved cars for the way they make you feel, none of that matters. In a world moving towards silence and screens, the GTX stands as a heartbeat, a defiant reminder that cars are supposed to stir your soul. And that's why, at the end of this review, I'll say this: the GTX doesn't just bring back an icon. It brings back the emotion of driving, the pride, the excitement, the reason we fell in love with engines, not apps. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Is the 2026 GTX the true return of American muscle, or just one last roar before the electric era takes over? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment personally. And if you felt even a spark of that old school passion while watching this, don't just click away. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join this community of car lovers who still believe driving should feel something. Because as long as people like you keep watching, sharing, and dreaming, the roar of cars like the GTX will never fade.